Peace, and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Deep Knowledge Radio. Place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born a Lot. And y'all see us here on Warrior Wednesday. We got the Warrior Queen in the building. You understand what I'm saying? We got the epitome of the Warrior Queen in the building.
Turn
IFe
up.
JIe in the building.
Turn up.
Sister Ife is in the building. You understand what I'm saying?
All the way.
So I'm glad that she here. It's been a long time coming. I'm thankful to our ancestors that our schedules finally linked up. You see what I'm saying? So we can have our sister in the building and share her RBG story with us. You understand? So we got the everyday African hip hop historian. You know what I'm saying? So many things to say about my sister. So we just gonna get started. My honor and privilege at this time. Introduce some present to others. Our sister IFe JIe in the building. Black love to you, sis. Black.
That's really good. This is the coolest shit ever. First and foremost, technology is so awesome. We live. You know what I'm saying? No tapes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I can cuss. There's no limitations. This shit is hard. I fuck with it. But thanks for having me, man. Thanks for just keeping up with trying to make this happen. I really appreciate any opportunity to be able to talk about what we love to do and what we out here trying to promote. And at the end of the day, we on the same page. We're trying to free our minds and liberate our people, man. So I appreciate you and what you do and the platform that you have. So it's an honor to be here, man. I appreciate it.
We out here trying to function. You understand? Yeah, we out here trying to function.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah, definitely a long time in the making. As I was saying before, been watching over the years. Phenomenal artists. True African. You see what I'm saying? Living this culture, this way of life. Example, raising the babies and doing everything an ideal African woman.
Oh, give thanks.
Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm just glad to have a couple moments with you to pick your brain and get some of your thoughts. You see what I'm saying? Out here fanning like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? We out here fanning, cheering.
I'm fanning. I'm always humble. This bird is not mine. It's ours. You feel me? So I'm fanning, man.
That's real.
Just being able to be in this moment with you is just as important. Like for real. Yeah, give thanks.
So how did you get started? Like, where was your beginning part on this journey? I don't know if we got all the time to get into everything, but what I'm saying? Like, what was your catalyst?
Well, I'm gonna say like what my homegirls say. I wasn't sworn into it. I was born into it. You know what I mean? I give thanks that I come from a family that were already laying the foundation for revolutionary thinking, for culture, for national identity, to be a part of who I was growing up. Are you still there? I can't see your face anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here. This is all eyes on you right there.
What's happening? Okay. So I'm repping for my folks right now, New African Panthers. You know what I'm saying? So I give thanks that as a child, y'all know I'm from South Central Los Angeles, and there was a moment where our organization that I've been privileged to be able to grow up in, the Malcolm X grassroots movement, they were based in LA. There was a point where they were based in LA, way kind of back. I was a baby girl. And, and eventually they took the movement to the South. And of course, as New Africans, we were raised with a certain type of identity and, consciousness of ourselves. And so my father, as some of our community went to Atlanta and Alabama and transitioned to the South, my father chose to stay on the West Coast. So his lane was, he was a musician. My father was, I literally have been living my father's life. You know, that moment where you're like, I want to be like them. But then there was a point in my life where I had to humble myself and I had to be like them. And it's been one of the greatest journeys ever. But my father was a musician and kind of had revolutionary ideas and all of that. He was definitely on some revolutionary shit. There's pictures that I have of him performing, and he literally would bring his gun, and there was moments where he would be on the microphone holding the gun up in his hand. And you're talking about a time in our culture, where a lot of organizations were being spotlighted by the media. You had the Black Panther Party, obviously, that had got a lot of recognition, and the US organization and all of that. And those are some of the more popular ones that people are usually familiar with. But you had some other organizations, the Revolutionary Action Movement, the African People's Organization, a lot of different other clusters of folks. And so my father was a part of that wave of people that were making it a call at the time to re-identify ourselves as Africans and just reclaim our identity, you know what I mean, and our culture and our ways and our traditions and all of that. And so I just was honored to be a child of someone who was in that lane, and then surrounded by people that helped to continuously cultivate that within me. So my aunt, Aminata Umoja, my uncle, Akinyele Umoja, my community, Baba Ahmed Obafemi, Wachani Tahimba. These are some people that I just adore and I just grew up with, And so yeah, I wasn't sworn into it. It wasn't like a moment. I was definitely born into it, but then there became a moment where I just was like, this is me. You know what I'm saying? You know how some kids rebel? I could have been on some whole different shit with my lace front, no shade to the lace fronts, whatever. But I could have been on my lace front with my, Gucci bag, and all of that. I could have been on some different shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not hating on those that do, because there's some of us who's New African true, and we got the lace fronts and the Gucci bags, and we still making that African shit look cool. But I definitely got with the shits, because it was just something that was attractive to me and a passion of mine. And there was a moment, I don't even know how old I was, but there was a moment where I just started to feel a responsibility. Like, I can't see how people go out like that. But growing up in LA, it's a lot of poverty. You see a lot of poverty. Most Black folks here are struggling. Classism is a motherfucker. So you got people riding Maseratis, and you got Black folks living on bus benches. You feel me? Right. So there's a moment where I think I start realizing, my community, this shit is not the shit. And I just started to have a passion to want to look out for my niggas. You know what I'm saying? Really, that's what it really boiled down to, And I was, again, privileged to kind of know what that looked like. You know what I mean? What care of our community looked like, what love looked like, through political action and, obviously through music. So my life just kind of started to transform over the years, and this is where it landed me. Now I'm in that alignment of, trying to bring everything that I've learned to the forefront and just give it to the people now. So yeah, long answer to a dope question.
Yeah. Well, we know your articulation skills is on point. You see what I'm saying? We don't see you on the microphone. You understand? In several settings. Let's talk about that space of creativity and adaptability, because you, like our hip hop historian, you found a way to build that bridge. I think that is so remarkable. You see what I'm saying? I think that is so remarkable to be able to see a culture that was influenced, you see what I'm saying, to articulate it to those who on the outs looking. You see what I'm saying? It's all right, so now I'm still with y'all. I'm going to bring y'all in the classroom so they can understand what's going on. You see what I'm saying? So what was that catalyst like for you, and how easy or how difficult was it to have that shift in thought to be able to bring these two worlds together?
Yeah, that's you have great fucking questions, yo. Really good at this shit. Yeah, no, the deal is that so I always tell people that my superpower was my brain. You know what I mean? So I went to Crenshaw High School, and I graduated top 10 of my class. And what was funny is that I didn't even realize that half my niggas wasn't graduating with me until graduation day, where I was like, oh, where everybody at? You know that moment. We all gathering, whatever. And I'm like, where my day ones at? You know what I mean? And very few of my niggas was with me. Very few of them. There was some, but very few. And I didn't realize that niggas wasn't really doing their homework and shit. You know what I'm saying? But I always
Right.
was really like, my father sent me to a private school out here called Marcus Garvey Elementary School. And I went there for the majority of my education as a child. It wasn't until maybe about sixth grade that I left there. So you're talking about being in a private Afrocentric institution for the majority of what I knew school to be. And the type of rigorousness that they used to have us doing hieroglyphics and mathematics and hieroglyphics. And we was only like the fifth and sixth grade. You know what I'm saying? So the shit was crazy, right. The level of excellence that happens in Afrocentric spaces where we could control our own education of our children. So shouts out to all the folks that are doing African-centered schools, because that shit is priceless. And I'm a product of it. I am a product of an Afrocentric foundation of an education that was a pivotal piece of my foundation. So ever since then, school was just easy as shit, because public school wasn't nothing compared to Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was just doing pre-calculus and stuff. I was doing trigonometry at an early fucking age. So it was just one of those things where school was just super easy for me. Just super easy, because my dad and my mother took the time to invest the money and put us in Afrocentric private schools. So it wasn't until like I got to undergrad, I became what they call a McNair scholar. It's basically where they pay you to do research. They give you opportunity to do research as an undergraduate student. And that's when I first started to say, like, I always loved hip hop. Hip hop has always been a part of who I was, but I didn't know that you could actually like research hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But I was fortunate to have some really dope teachers, like my uncle, Akinyele Umoja, who's a hip hop head. He's one of the first people that I had in my life that would sit me down and like listen to this song. You know what I'm saying? And you got to keep in mind that he came up in that era where Pac was one of their babies. You know, they raised Pac and they saw the emergence of his career and all of that coming to fruition. And so my uncle was absolutely a fan of hip hop, but then also helped to raise and cultivate, you know, niggas like Tupac. You feel me? So my uncle literally used to sit me down, have me listen to hip hop. And then there was a moment when I got into undergrad that he helped me as a professor, because I'm a student, he's a professor. And even though we was family, we kept it on the low. But, you know, he was like, why don't you could basically, he gave me the insight that was even possible, you know. So I'll credit my uncle for kind of starting that shit out, you know what I mean? And then he linked me with a woman named Dr. Lakita Bonet Bailey, who still looks out for me to this day. She's one of the reasons why I just came back from Atlanta for the Beyond the Culture conference. And anyway, they basically let me know that was possible, that you could do hip hop shit in school. And so as an undergraduate, I started to do what's called Africanisms in hip hop music, basically looking at how African we really is, you know, still in hip hop. And over time, with each kind of moment, I would go back to school. I've been back to school a couple of times, you feel me? So every time I would go back, it was like I would get more and more information about hip hop. And then at the same time, you know how most niggas, when they rapping, they trapping. And a lot of time they trapping, not to be a stereotype, but this is the usual, right? This is the stereotype that we can accept, right? So a lot of niggas is trapping because they trying to get studio time. You know, doing music is not cheap. You feel me? You got to get budget to do this, the video done, the whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? You got to have money. But where you going to get that money from? Trap or die, nigga. You going to find a way to get it, you know? But my thing was school. So I would flip my school money to invest in my music, you know? And so I kept going back to school so I could keep investing in my music. And I still do the shit right now today. I always tell people I'm a woman with movement with no motherfucking job, but I go to school. So school at this point, you know, they give me enough money to sustain myself and then have a little extra to be able to invest in my career. So as I was getting more education, my music shit was also growing as well. So it was like a hand in hand dance, you know what I'm saying, for many years until now I'm at this level and this shit is just coming together. And I don't even think I planned it like that. It just was what it was. I just was letting my spirit kind of guide me. You know what I mean? I knew I love rap music. I love rap music. You feel me? And I love my people and I'm good at school. You know what I'm saying? So the shit it just made sense. It just made sense. And yeah, Spirit led me to this moment. Now I'm starting to recognize what she was up to. like, oh, this what you was planning this whole time. So I'm glad I'm glad I was obedient enough to follow. You know what I'm saying? And just never settling for the bullshit. Just never settling for the bullshit. So yeah, a lot of people invested on that journey, man. But those particular two scholars, those are probably the most pioneering people that even let me know that that was even possible to be a hip hop artist and be like a hip hop scholar together. You know.
Mm. We definitely proud.
Give
I
them.
think our ancestors being in the betting halls, wherever they at. Like I'm betting on this motherfucker right here. You understand what I'm saying? But let me bet on her right here. Let me bet on her. Like you know what I'm saying? I told y'all. Y'all ain't want to listen. I
Listen.
told y'all. Look at that one right there. Give me my damn money.
Give me my damn money. Foggy.
Give me my damn money. So,
I love that. I love that.
yeah, I think it's been a beautiful journey.
Yeah.
So as far as this, you know, transformation process you underwent, like what's some of the lessons that you learned about you and some of the takeaways just from your experience thus far, you know, that you could share with people?
Some of the lessons that I've learned, number one, is that you got to be authentically yourself.
Mm,
Nobody likes. It's hard to keep up bullshit. It's hard to be fake. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
It's hard to keep that shit up. It take a lot of energy to keep up bullshit. You feel me? So one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned is to be my fucking self through and through and through and through. The way I'm talking to you right now is the way I talk on the fucking phone. It's the way that I talk when I'm on platforms in academic spaces and in classrooms. You know, I try not to ever feel like I'm saying something that I can't stand by, you know? And so I'm very honest about what it is I really feel. Cause I don't ever want that moment where it's like, oh, she said some shit like that. And I'm like, what? I didn't say that, or that's not what I would say. But I might have really said it, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm trying to beat to somebody else's drum. So that's one of the most pivotal lessons that I learned, is that you got to keep that shit 100% real. And the irony is that most people really want to be that themselves. So when they see you doing that shit, it gives them permission to do that shit as well, you know. And that's a quote from, I forget what her name is right now. I want to say Toni Morrison or somebody like that. Somebody very profound and said it way beautiful, you know, way more beautiful than I could. But yeah, that's one of those things. Like you got to just really be your fucking self. And so that's why it's not that's why I give thanks for it, because this me. You see what I'm saying? I love what I do because it really is who I am. You know, I feel like I've been doing music all my fucking life. I started rapping in church. That's what niggas don't know. But I'm working on
mm,
putting out something to kind of tell my story real soon. Shouts out to my man, Mike Towns, real quick. But I started rapping in church. So spirituality and hip hop was always like together. You feel me? And yeah, just being myself has been probably the most valuable lessons that I've ever learned doing this rap shit, you know, because you can be that all day long, any day of the week. You run into me at the grocery store, I'm gonna be the same way. You know what I mean? And yeah, ironically, that's one of the hardest things to do, is to be your authentic self. But that's one of the most powerful
mm.
things that we could be as African people, number one. You know, but definitely as artists and revolutionaries, you know, you got to keep it real with yourself so that you can keep it real with the people. And that's why I named my movement Return to the Real. You got to be yourself. You got to be authentically you. Yeah. So that's my greatest lesson. Great question. Great fucking question.
I just want to take you back to a moment because it was a moment that you was like it was so much of you that came out
Okay.
at that time, like walking back into your alma mater and presenting, you know, to those youth in there. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you was one of the youth with the tassel and you know the cap and the gown. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right
what
on.
was that like for you going back that way? You see what I'm saying? Going back in that time machine, like damn. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? And, you know, what was that like for you?
Man, that shit was surreal. So first off, shouts out to Crenshaw High School, man. My nigga Nip got a song, and he started off for all the girls, all the real LA girls that went to Crenshaw High. I'm one of those.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? We from South Central Los Angeles. Nip was definitely a personal friend of mine. You know, his my cousin Rollo Styles is actually working with me right now, producing some shit. I don't even want to really talk about it, but it's gonna be fucking fire, you know. But you know, being from that city, from my city, seeing the shit that I've seen growing up the way I grew up. You know, me and my homeboys we was at the barbershop just yesterday, and we were talking about there was a moment where we was coming out of class for the day, and bodies was outside. Niggas just was dropping. You know what I'm saying? Because that
Right.
gang shit is real. I didn't even wear red until I moved out of Los Angeles for the first time. I never fucking wore red until I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I remember the day that I wore red from head to toe, and I felt so uncomfortable, but I was like, oh, ain't nobody gonna bang on me though. Like, let me do this. I can get away with this. You know, so growing up in Crenshaw, in that area in South Central Los Angeles, was absolutely everything you thought it was. That shit was real to the motherfucker. So having left LA and being able to be in such a safe space in Atlanta where I got used to relaxing and being around black folks all the time and being comfortable, going to a party and not getting shot up. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit really used to stand out to me. Like, being around too many niggas used to make me nervous. Like, no bullshit. But being in the South, I got comfortable. I was like, oh, wait. And then I started getting onto some other shit and really started to get very, very, very cultivated as a revolutionary thinker. You know what I'm saying? And so coming back to LA and going into Crenshaw High School, that shit was so surreal because I'm like, look at how far I really come. But then there was also like a responsibility to like, now I got to bring this shit back home because my niggas don't know that this other reality exists. Because a lot of us have never got the opportunity to leave. You know what I'm saying? But I left. I got an opportunity to leave, and I can bring this comfort, this camaraderie, this sense of unity, you know what I'm saying, and ease back to the fucking streets that I actually was walking on. You know what I mean? And so that shit was like humbling. It was humbling as fuck. You know, it was one of those things where you recognize that the universe has a plan for everything. And then if you humble to yourself, you can see how the universe is orchestrating all of this shit for some bigger purpose. You know what I'm saying? So I was honored, man. I was honored as fuck to walk back up them stairs, to look at the, you know, Crenshaw High School, you know what I mean? Mantle that we all got to go under when we go up the stairs and shit, and walking in the hallways and looking at the children and like knowing that I got some shit to give y'all and y'all gonna love this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if I could just keep on working, I can keep on getting my foot in the door. I'm working on some shit now so I can actually solidify myself in some schools. But, you know, just knowing that it was something that I had to offer. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times niggas get their bread or get their education and they go somewhere else with it, you know? But I legitimately was not trained to do that. You know, a part of our ethic as revolutionaries and as new Africans is to come back. You know, it's a responsibility. You know what I mean? If I don't do it, who the fuck else is gonna do it? I can't let these, you know, ill-intentioned teachers, you know, no matter what fucking color they are, you know what I'm saying? I can't let y'all do it. You know what I mean? Like somebody has to do the work to make sure that our babies is saved, that my niggas is not gonna graduate from high school not knowing what the fuck is really going on. You know what I'm saying? And not being hip to the game and not really peeping the game, you know? So it just was it was an honor being able to be back at Crenshaw and just being back on my block, being back in the city of LA. I would have never thought that I was going to be back here. I really thought that Georgia was like, you know, I was good with the ATL. And I love the ATL. That's why I stay going back there all the time, you know, but I never would have thought that I was going to be in LA, let alone doing this on this level. You feel me? But I recognize that the Lord had a bigger plan for me, you know, and that, you know, it was really me just being a vessel for some shit. You know what I'm saying? And again, being authentically myself, it was something that I was able to fully be present in and appreciate, you know, and have some responsibility. You know what I mean? So I never really took that shit for granted. You know what I'm saying? Being able to be back here. So yeah, I'm working on some stuff. The shit ain't over. The journey continues for real. The marathon continues for real. you know, but there's a moment where I know what it's like to be a young person growing up in South Central Los Angeles. And I know what it's like to have some really dope teachers that can change your life, you know, and just put them glasses on and you can see the world totally different, you know. And so I just wanted to humble myself to hopefully be a lens for my people, you know what I'm saying, especially for our young people, because they're the ones you'd be surprised, man. If you could snatch the babies, then you could tear some shit up, you know what I mean. And so the same goes in reverse. If you could put some game onto some kids, you could change the rest of their life, you know. So yeah, shit was humbling. It was a blessing though. I was so honored. Crenshaw has changed though a lot since I was going there. It's changed a lot. The community has changed. Gentrification is a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And that's a part of what Nip was trying to do, trying to sustain what it looked like to be in that Crenshaw Slauson kind of district in that area, you know, or at least be able to ride the wave enough so that we could benefit from it too. And we wasn't going to be totally displaced from the shit, you know? So it's some real shit going on in our communities and all of our communities, really. But it's motherfuckers that got to have a charge in their heart, you know, to say, nah, I'm going to keep my stake in the ground, or at least try to make sure that my people is not finna just get railroaded, you know, while these forces are coming and just tearing up our community. So yeah, that shit was humbling. But I love my hood. I love Crenshaw. I love the community. I love my family still got our property where I grew up. I still go over there, you know what I'm saying? It's everything, man. It's humbling though. It's very humbling. And it's a sense of responsibility to make sure I don't fuck it up. Real shit.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
So I'm gonna just paint a picture real quick, and let's see how you flow with it.
Okay.
Easy, Pop, and Nip. You live through all three of them transitions. You see what I'm saying?
I'm with you. You see, I got my thinking cap on. Thinking
You
about it.
live through all three of those transitions as a hip hop artist and as a revolutionary and a revolutionary thinker. What could you take away from them three transitions, and how do you think
Mm.
musically the culture has been affected, whether those three, where you are, and then from a global perspective?
That's a really bomb question. The first image that comes to mind is this. So all three of them
Mm,
niggas got that in common. There's an audacity that all three of them had in common. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Fuck the police. You feel me?
right.
It was big. That's huge. I was a baby, you know what I mean, when that era was kind of really taking root. But that was a part of our language. That was a part of our culture growing up in LA. Fuck the police. You know what I mean? That was nothing. Everybody knew that. Growing up with pot, you know, the same kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? The exact same kind of energy. And the responsibility that Pac had, knowing that he came from a certain cloth. Pac was a Panther. Pac was a New African Panther at one point, growing up in LA. And his audacity never left him. He was always like, fuck y'all, the long way. You know what I'm saying? And Nip, the same shit. You know, I was just looking at a clip. Somebody interviewed him. I might post it up on my IG later, but somebody asked him, you know, like, basically, what is it? What is it that you something? What is the biggest person that you got beef with or something in the industry? And this nigga said, these racist ass institutions. He didn't tell him a name of a person. The institutions themselves. You know what I'm saying? Nip called it out. So I say, you know, I think the biggest thing that I would say about those artists that I would take away from them is the audacity to stand in the face of bullshit and racism, police brutality, capitalism, white supremacy, and not waver, gang bang on that shit. You feel me? And that's why I love the RBG movement, because being a revolutionary is gangster. It's fuck. They the main gangsters. You know what I'm saying? And so I would say that those two, I mean those legacies, those three people, the legacies that they left, those things have been very powerful. And then me coming in the game as a woman, it's almost like my niggas gave me permission to already do this. So when I come up and I say fuck the police and I'm banging on the system the way we do in our RBG camp and just the whole commentary behind our rhetoric, there's a moment where it's like, well, nigga, I ain't the first one that said it. But when a woman says it, it could be it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's very different. So I love it. I give thanks for all of each one of those artists individually, and then they also let us know that there's a moment where you could get a target on your back. Pac was a target. Nip was a target. And some people will argue that Easy was a target. You know what I'm saying? That these niggas was shaking shit up so much that they end up putting targets on their back. And so I'm aware of that as well. But I try to stay spiritually fortified, so that the decisions that I make are a little more calculated, and not just something off the hip, you know what I mean? But something that is very prayerful and very mindful, But I definitely think in terms of music, those guys have definitely made a set a bar of what it looks like to be revolutionary and to be gangster. And some people may not even associate Eazy-E with a revolutionary type concept, but I do. You know what I'm saying? How can you not say a nigga with an attitude saying fuck the police? That's revolutionary as a motherfucker for our for that era. You see what I'm saying? So I can appreciate those things, and I can appreciate the reality of what that looks like when you be that audacious and you expose yourself to certain, bullshit. You know what I mean? And we see that right now with our political prisoners. You know what I mean? Matulu, right now, we still battling. He's struggling with his health right now. But Doc was supposed to be out. You know what I mean? But he was audacious. This nigga was doing some real shit. And it got him a target on his back. And Mumia, all of them, Kamal Siddiqui, all of them. Mumia Abu Jamal, Jamil Alameen. You go down the line, man. Being audacious is a thing that we all got to be, whether we rappers or political activists. And just being able to be exposed to some really dope people that made that shit look cool in a motherfucker is really been a blessing. And that's the beauty of hip hop, and then knowing the game, knowing where hip hop's place is in this larger struggle for liberation that we all in. So, yeah.
Let me let that marinate for a second. You see what I'm saying? Like, look, I gotta let that marinate. Gotta let it breathe.
You gotta
You
let
see?
it go.
Gotta let it breathe. Can't just go off the rip like, yeah, that was cool. Like, nah, you gotta let that breathe. You gotta understand the dimensions that was taken
Right.
through. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? From Easy E Boys in the Hood, Pop. You see what I'm saying? Like, me against the world, against all odds. You
Come
see what I'm saying?
on.
Like what that really meant. Like they were painting pictures. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And then the last aspect to see it all come together. Like
That,
this is a duty and responsibility, and what it costs you to do it.
that part.
You see what I'm saying?
That part.
And that right there, like that's a part that's kind of left out of the story. Like what it costs. Like okay, you standing for your people. It costs Nip the same thing it cost Malcolm.
Yeah. That shit
You
is
see what I'm saying?
yeah.
In front of his his pregnant wife with twins and 4 children. This is what it costs.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this is what it costs. Like this is what it costs. This is what it cost Martin. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Cat called him out to the balcony for him to die. Like this is what it costs.
It costs.
You know what I mean?
Listen,
So put
I
it
saying
all
it.
together
Yeah.
and yeah, like and then for those who still living, look, this is what it cost Dr. Matulu. He's still alive. You see what I'm saying? Like this is what it cost Mumia. Like it's still alive.
Still
So it's
alive, man.
really still there. It's really still active. It's really still happening
Hell yeah.
on both sides.
Hell yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
I got this
yeah,
I
I
got this
mean,
one song called Stay Down. and I dedicated it to Matulu. I had just came back from going to visit him in Adelanto, California, right outside of Lake Victorville, and I came back, from an awesome ass visit, just me and him sitting down, chopping it up, and then I wrote this song. I was just so moved by the whole thing. But there's a line in it, and you can catch it on Bandcamp, and I think it might be on my SoundCloud too. But anyway, there's a moment where I say, "We fight for freedom, but freedom ain't free." You know what I'm saying? That's what niggas be getting twisted. Freedom is not fucking free, my nigga. That's a misconception. That's a genuine misconception. The beast is not gonna let you take the bone out of his mouth and not bite down on your ass. You feel what I'm saying? Right. So it's a reality, man, that we all gotta humble ourselves to know what it is. And that's why I say that there's a moment where you gotta just be honest with yourself. There's a line that I love that Nip say, "If I die today, I know I made the set proud, nigga." You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that shit is real. And even though he's saying it like the set, I take it to mean everybody, my community. Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
I made everybody proud, and that's the whole G of it. There's a moment where when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, whatever the ancestors call you back, you could rest assured that if you gave it your all, that's going to make a difference. Pac said I wasn't gonna, start the revolution, but I would spark the mind who would. You feel me? So these niggas are very, you feel me? Like, they're very conscious that what we call this being a protracted struggle, meaning that it's generation after generation, voice after voice, artist after artist. You know what I'm saying? And every nigga got to do their part. It's a marathon for real, my nigga, but it's a relay with it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna pass it to you, and then you run for. You know what I mean? Right. And we hope that the next, generation. That's why I fuck with young people so hard. That's why I'm like, y'all got to get this game. Y'all have to know how powerful hip hop really is. You see what I'm saying? And the potential of it is endless. And these motherfuckers have peaked the potential, and they've tried to curb it and form it and shape it in their own way. And that's why it's important for some of us to come back and say, nah, nigga, that's not only it. Hip hop is also this, But yeah, that's just real. That's just real. But I love
and finding a way to weave it in their language, whatever their language is. You see what I'm saying? If they was like, oh man, mumble rap. I'm like, yo, if these cats is getting paid $10 million to create their own language, get it. Get their ass.
Yeah.
You understand?
And we just got to always remember responsibility.
We had to use a ski mask. You see what I'm saying? We had to use a ski mask to do what we needed to do. They write bare face. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, let me on that.
Yeah.
Strong. They ain't even strong garb. It's like pimping.
And I don't hate on nobody doing their thing in the game. If you getting it, get it. Right. My only thing is that you can assume that that's just the only thing. You know what I'm saying? Right. That for every nigga that's not talking about something, it's 10 niggas that is. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. So that's the whole shit. Is just the balance. Bring the balance out.
And the marketing got to be there for that. So if you want somebody to hear what you got to say, you got to get it to them. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? You ain't just going into Walmart because it's a Walmart in your neighborhood. It's a Walmart in your neighborhood because they got a whole campaign rollout to show you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they marketing to you because they need you to come to Walmart. You understand what I'm saying? That's like I give an analogy about McDonald's. I said McDonald's got a play place in McDonald's, not for the children. It's for the adults. So the adults take that little pause in there, and they can relax. Their children can play in plain sight. But what did you just create? You just created 4 more generations who are going to take their children to McDonald's, and they're not going to change that play place.
Right.
So McDonald's is happy that you came in here with your children, and they love you. So you created a loving relationship synonymous with a McDonald's experience in a little play place. So you're going to take your children, and they're going to take their children. This is how McDonald's is never going to close.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just like that. You see, so if we don't hold that improper propaganda and convert it into proper propaganda and say, okay, this is what's next. This is, like Kalanji got organizing is the new cool. You see what I'm saying? So if this ain't the new cool, this needs to be the new cool. You see what I'm saying? So
I'm with you 100%. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said that it takes, you gotta first, you have to put people in context, because banging on the system has been cool for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But we don't necessarily give it that label. Motherfuckers like Easy, you would rather just write him off as a gangster rapper. Nah, a nigga was on some different shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. At his level, to the degree that he was on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this shit is cool. It's cool to be in the culture of hip hop. It's cool as fuck. But if you are not aware of all of what you are involved with, then you could just be kind of going with the flow of stuff, but there's a moment where if you are conscious of what you are already into, and you're conscious of why you wear 5 gold chains around your neck, and you conscious of why, certain rhythms make you go, you know what I'm saying? If you're conscious of that shit, then there's a certain like connection that you can make with things, and a certain intentionality that you start having. You know what I mean? Like, I'm purposefully gonna do this because this is what this means. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna purposefully support this business. You know what I mean? Because this is in alignment with what I really rock with. Instead of taking my kids to a McDonald's, I might take my kids somewhere fucking else. I might take them to Tassili's and go get a goddamn vegetarian wrap. So shouts out to Mama Tassili out in Atlanta. She has the whole live food diet and the vegan raw food diet. You might take your kids to Tassili's instead and go to the park across the street. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But there's a certain
different, yeah.
Intentional though. Intentional. Being very intentional with your shit. That's why I started to do the Everyday African clothing line as well, because I started to realize that remember when Gucci did that bullshit and everybody was all in the frenzy about the major clothing brands just not giving a fuck about black people, right? And just totally disrespecting us, but taking our money at the same time. And then there's a moment where I just was like, well, I could never afford that shit, no way.
Right.
And I can do this African shit way more flyer than the Gucci belt or the Fendi purse. You know what I'm saying? I could do this African shit way more drippier. You see what I'm saying? I'd rather spend my money on some gold, because that's my culture anyway, and rock some African fabrics. That shit look good in the motherfucking when we put it together. You know what I'm saying? So just even that, like just being very intentional about doing what we do best and not trying to be like them so much. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time I was a young woman, I was on the MARTA train, and I used to wear my hair straight, press my hair out. And I haven't worn my hair pressed like that in a long time. It's just not my swag. It's hard to keep up with. Anyway, all my girls know what I'm talking about. But, there's a moment, though, where I was sitting on the MARTA bus, and I was looking at this white girl. She was sitting in front of me. And I was looking at her hair, blonde hair, long hair. And I'm like, damn, my hair never be this straight. Like, as much as I press it, flat iron it, roll it, set it, all of whatever we do in the black beauty shops, my hair will never be as straight as this white girl's. It's just not built for it. It's not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that shit kind of transformed me a little bit, because I was like, well, this curly shit, I can do this curly shit every day, all day long. And that's one of the first times that I started to say, all right, I'm finna have locks. I had locks for a couple of years. And that was the beginning of me starting to say, well, let me just do what we do and just perfect that shit. Because the moment I try to do what they do, I always end up falling short. I could never do what they do. I can't do it. I can never afford the lifestyle. I can't, get the fancy clothes and the Gucci shades. I mean, I just ain't never had that kind of money. You know what I'm saying? I could never wear my hair straight or keep up with the beauty shop, to be in the shop every 2 weeks, to do my hair this certain way. It just wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't keep up with it, but the moment I started doing black shit, African shit, I was like, I could perfect this. You see what I'm saying? I could do this shit very well, actually, very well, and make this shit look good in a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's another part of just reclaiming our history and reclaiming our identity, whether it's hip hop, whether it's our African, identity, our African aesthetics, the way that we get down, the way that we cipher, the way that we talk to each other, our lingo, our drip, our swag, the way we wear jewelry, you know what I'm saying? All that shit. Like, I can do this shit far better than I could do that shit. So I promote our shit, and I can live in our shit. I'm comfortable in our shit. So I stick to what feel good and what sound right, man. So yeah, that's a part of it as well, bro.
That's it. That is it.
Fine.
For real. Fuck what you heard. Easy does it. He was talking that shit.
I like it. I like
Hey,
it. Say that.
like
Yeah.
Easy gave me some stories. So like Easy gave me some stories that I wasn't ready for until I was ready for
Mm-hmm.
them. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And
You
I
said y'all
think
was ready.
that's important. That's important with hip hop with the art form. You see what I'm saying? So like when I talk to King Scratch and when I talk to Cocaine, I was like, oh shit. So all the dots was connected. I was like, there was no lies in none of these songs right here. You see what I'm saying? So it's like there was no lies in none of these songs. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, so this was real, real. So when you look at something and you don't understand, you don't have a context to operate in, you
Yeah.
don't have no backstory, you don't have nothing, you just hear it,
Yeah.
like it kind of dissuade you. You see what I'm saying? But if you paying attention to it, you like, oh, yeah, this is real.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to read 27 books. I could
Right.
just hear this song.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I ain't
Yeah.
have to talk to 27 people. I could just hear this song. But then when I talk to the 27 people, I could hear aspects of the song from everybody's story.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yes.
I think that was
The
pretty
beauty
good.
of it all, man. That's the beauty of a nigga doing hip hop and knowing what the fuck they doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
That's the beauty of it.
right.
That's the beauty of it. Well said. Couldn't have said it better myself.
So yeah, I don't want to steal up no more of your time. So if you got final thoughts,
It's
you
all
got
good.
shout out, you got stuff you want to plug,
It's
whatever you got
always
coming up that you can share with us. You understand? Whatever you can share with us.
right on.
The floor is
Right
yours.
on. Well, first off, thank you again. You know what I'm saying? It's sincerely a pleasure to be able to communicate what I have to say. You know what I'm saying? I am but one voice in a spectrum of many voices that exist within hip hop and our revolutionary culture. So I give thanks that I'm able to express my voice. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we can repost this and I can share this on my platforms as well so that my voice can be heard, your voice can be heard. So just give thanks for the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, stay fucking tuned. You know what I'm saying? I cuss a lot, so forgive me, but it is what it is. I got some shit coming down the line. I who is this calling me? Hold on, it's my aunt. I'll call him back in a second. Shouts out to Shy Town, my uncle. But anyway, yeah, I just want to say that the movement is moving. It is a real life intention to not only give folks this hip hop music and entertain folks and have a good time, but it's also an intention to liberate us at the end of the day. So I hope that if you rock with me, if you fuck what I'm fucking with, that you can align yourself with that at the end of the day. That we on some hip hop shit because we're trying to liberate ourselves at the end of the day. And the liberation, it is a physical liberation, but my focus right now is a mental liberation. I want to free your mind up. I want us to be able to have enough
Mm,
information so that we can start thinking different, you know what I'm saying, and feeling different, and then the physical manifestation of freedom will come afterwards, but I'm trying to use this music to free your mind first. You see what I'm saying? So please fuck with me. I got some music that's already available. I love this little plug you got right there, ifejie.bandcamp.com. Anytime you click on something on my YouTube, on my Bandcamp, it does feed me. So I appreciate all the support. Please check it out. You know what I mean? I would love for you to listen, and just continue to follow the movement, man, because there's a moment where I'm hoping all of this will make sense one day, you know what I mean? And the platforms become more plentiful, the audiences become bigger, you know
right.
what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's what we're doing that the world needs to fucking see. You know what I'm saying? That we don't exist in a box. Black people ain't just one thing, and we out here. We out here. So please continue to support the movement. I want folks to get freed up. I want folks to feel like, it's okay to be African. So claim your African identity and run with that shit and be as audacious as my niggas Nip, as my niggas Pot, as my nigga Easy E. You feel what I'm saying? Do your thing in your lane and always throw up your middle fingers and don't feel no way about it. You know what I mean? So that's my final thoughts. That's my final words. Shouts out to the show, Jonathan Bourne Jackson. Blah, blah, blah. What's the name of your show? What do you call it?
Do the Knowledge Radio.
Do the knowledge. Do the fucking knowledge, yo. I like that.
That's it.
Knowledge.
That's it.
Knowledge born. I like.
I'm gonna steal that little snippet right there. Do the fucking knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's about to be my damn.
Man, run with it. Run with it. Have that. That's you, bro. That's my gift then. That's my reciprocity. Because thank you. This has been awesome. I appreciate your questions, bro. Real talk. Real talk. Oh, give thanks. Yeah, give thanks. I see the comments coming up. I appreciate y'all listening. Thank you. Continue to support Do the Knowledge Radio, Do the Knowledge Show. This is real shit happening, so I'm privileged to be here.
Fucking knowledge.
Do the fucking knowledge.
I'm gonna end every show off. I'm gonna end off every show with that. As long as I remember.
Do that shit. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. From the West Coast. We out here.
West. All right. Yeah, this is yours. So you can take it, put it on your YouTube, put it on IG, put it wherever you need to do it, chop it, screw it, whatever. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And, tell a friend, man. Come holler at us.
Got you.
We love our people over here. You see what I'm saying?
Got you.
All right.
Yeah, give thanks.
We out.
All right, we out. Do the knowledge, yo. Do the fucking knowledge.
Do the fucking knowledge.